Chris, Zelda backwards is a DLC. Close enough.
Kind of.
So let's talk about Zelda DLC on this, our day of Switchmas, counting down the days until the Switch releases. So, I was about to call you Zelda. So, Chris, this Zelda DLC thing is a bit controversial. You go look at the official release, trailer, and it's got a lot of thumbs up, but it's got a lot of thumbs down. People are just throwing their thumbs all over the place. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumb somewhere else?
I think it's a mixed bag, and I don't think we know enough to make a final decision. Basically, what you get with this DLC is $20. The first thing you get when the game is released is 3 treasure chests that are found at the beginning of the game. They contain useful items and exclusive in-game clothing.
Ooh.
Yes. DLC Pack 1 comes out in the summer. It adds a new Cave of Trials challenge, a new hard mode, and an additional map feature.
Map feature?
Yeah. DLC 2, the final one, comes out in the winter, and you get a new story, a new dungeon, and additional challenges.
All right.
The DLC pack in the summer includes the Cave of Trials, which isn't that kind of like the Pit of Trials, I guess? Like the thing that's been in a number of Zelda games, which feels like it's in every one. Now they're kind of locking that behind this paywall. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I don't know. There's kind of two sides to this argument. Like, should this thing in this Zelda game be included in this Zelda game? Because Breath of the Wild obviously has a bunch of stuff that wasn't in previous Zelda games. The Cave of Trials, I don't know if I'd say it's enough of a Zelda tradition to be actually expected, because as far as I know, it's really only been in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I don't think... Oh wait, you know what? It was kind of in A Link Between Worlds with the tower.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could say 3 games. I don't know. I guess it depends on if you think that they've arbitrarily locked stuff behind content or not. I don't know if there's really an easy way to tell. But I will say that Breath of the Wild looks to have a ton of content as is. So it stings a little bit less than if we were getting a totally bare bones Zelda game with chunks taken out of it.
That's true. So here's the two sides. On the good side is that we're getting more Zelda. They're going to invest more in expanding the world and giving us more stuff to experience, which never really happens in a Zelda game. A lot of other games have done this where they have you have to buy a season pass so you get extra stuff after the game comes out. Nintendo's kind of experimented with this with Splatoon, where it was free, but they gave you free maps and free weapons and lots of free stuff, which is really nice.
There was Mario Kart 8.
Well, I'm sure Nintendo has seen what other studios are doing and realized, if we can do this and make $20 a piece from everybody for that extra support, it's hard to say no to that. So on the one hand, I think you definitely could have some really cool content. You play through the game once, and then several months later you get more content for it, which a little expansion pack, as long as it's done well to expand the world with some new features or some new storyline. I think that could be really cool. The downside is it's $20, and we're not really sure what we're gonna get for that $20. I'm not a fan of paying for something that before you know what it is, and that's kind of what this feels like to me, because they're telling you it's a new story, a new feature, but what does that mean exactly? So
yeah, a new feature is that could be anything.
Yeah.
New stuff.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's gonna be worth it if it ends up being worth it.
Right.
Interestingly, this has precedent not just with Nintendo games, but with Zelda games, if we're counting Hyrule Warriors, which also had a DLC sort of bundle where you would pay, a good amount at the beginning, and then as the DLC was doled out over the next few months, you could download it. But I guess the difference in that case is we kind of knew what we were getting there. We knew we were getting a new playable character, a new adventure map, which has a good amount of content. For this, it is a little bit up in the air. The wording is somewhat vague. That said, I like the challenge stuff. I like the sound of new challenges and the sound of a hard mode, even though this is kind of a point of contention for some people.
Yeah.
You're making kind of an expression with your face that's
because of the things I would expect in a Zelda game, hard mode is just one of them. You just expect that in the game. I don't see why that has to be an added thing you have to pay for.
Well, to be fair, I mean, just because it was in a past Zelda game or a couple other Zelda games doesn't mean it necessarily has to be in every Zelda game moving forward.
Yeah, but
to play Nintendo defense today, to play Nintendo goalie.
I think it's fair to have a business model where you pay to get more content.
Yeah.
But something like hard mode, where it's as basic as just making you take double damage, unless they
could be.
If they do a more comprehensive hard mode where they actually adjust a lot of details about the game, add more enemies here and there, actually make it more difficult in a lot of ways, I think that could be really cool. But we don't know.
We do not know. That's true.
If it's as simple as, making you take double damage, it seems like kind of a cheap way to lock that behind making you pay more money.
Okay. It is a fair point. It's a fair point. I'll concede. So it does seem like the meat of this DLC package is in the second one.
Yeah.
The second DLC bundle, which, coincidentally comes later on, comes in the winter, where it says new story, which is kind of vague wording as well. It's a new story, like a new, like, does Breath of the Wild count as one story and this is a second story? Like, is that
probably
what
not
we should
that?
be
It's
expecting?
probably not that. No.
Bill Trinan said in an interview that this was, during the development of the game, they thought, there's so much in this world, and we enjoy this world a lot, but we wish we could put even more stuff in it. We wish we could push the limits of this world further, which in the past for Nintendo would mean a game like Super Mario Galaxy 2. Granted, it's not, the same world or whatever, but that's exactly how that game came to be. They looked at all the ideas in Mario Galaxy, they had a bunch left, and they wanted to put them in a new game. So if this is like a dozen hours worth of content, that'd be kind of cool. If there's actually a new area. I mean, it says there's a new dungeon, so I'll probably get it. Weirdly, one of the things I like least about it is the sound of 3 treasure chests that that you get for free.
Yeah.
Because, well, we know what's in one of them. It's like a Switch shirt, which sounds a little tacky to me. Unless they make it really kind of cool, like take the colors of the Switch and maybe the circles and stuff and kind of make it a Zelda sort of-ish pattern with it, instead of just Link walking around a t-shirt that says Nintendo Switch like he's at a convention, an anime convention. That'd be kind of cool. Otherwise, I don't know, it takes me a little bit out of the world. It's a little tacky. The other 2 chests, I mean, I don't really want them to be something that makes the game easier, like a really awesome weapon. Maybe if it's like some kind of rare material or something, that might be good. But I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on that. But truth be told, $20. I mean, I'll probably get more Zelda unless I just completely hate this game.
Which is not very likely.
Not very likely. Well, man, wouldn't that be the pits? Yeah. If Zelda just came out and everyone hated it. And it's, what a disaster.
Well, I think one of the main things that we should take away from this is that Nintendo's definitely going to be doing this for probably all their games. So I think you can expect this for Mario Kart and Splatoon for sure.
I didn't think of it like that, but I think you're probably right, at least for their bigger games. Mm-hmm. As always, it's controversial, so let us know what you think in the thingy, below the video, whatever. And stay tuned for more 12 Days of Switchmas updates. We'll be updating daily with new videos.
Yep. So see you tomorrow.
Until the Switch launch, and then we'll stop and we'll play Zelda for the rest of our lives.
That's the plan.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
I don't know. Just do a quick I don't have any Lincoln logs. I don't think those are Lincoln logs. Hey there. Yeah, I know something, Cliffy. A little known fact. A little known fact about that, Cliffy. Yeah, Normie. Yeah, Nami. Yeah, Nami. A little known fact there is, the Whig Party originally started in Germany. Yeah, a little known fact there. Yeah, there, Normie. A little known fact there.